Hi Vera, how are you?
Hi, good, good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. It's a pleasure to have you as a guest.
Oh, it's a pleasure for me being on your show for us because I've been following for a long time now, since your name popped up in my life for the first time. And since you launched the podcast, I've been a huge fan of it. So congrats for your work and
No, I
thank you
appreciate it.
for having me.
Thank you, thank you. And I think you're one of the first people I know from the community because you've been there for a long time, And I think when
Uh,
we started, the two names I knew was yours and Ricardo's, right? So
oh yeah.
they were the two kind of names I knew with the OutSystems community. So I think this is probably a bit late. I should have had you on sooner. So I
Oh,
appreciate you saying yes and being here. Um, but it'd be good for for people who don't know you. I'd be very surprised if someone in the community didn't know you, but for those who are not, it'd be good to just to have a bit of introduction to yourself.
okay. So, hi everyone. I'm Vera. Portuguese, living in Portugal in the countryside, mother of two kids, two young girls, being a developer relations for 12 years at OutSystems. And yeah, today I'm here with Faraz to discuss everything that you want to discuss, Faraz. But
Amazing.
especially, talking about community, which is our, I would say competitive advantage regarding our competitors. But yeah, we can talk
Yeah.
more about
Yeah.
it.
Amazing. Yeah, and I'd like to kind of, rewind obviously life before out systems, because
Hmm.
obviously you haven't always been in community, so
Hmm.
can you tell me a bit about kind of where it started, how what attracted you to technology to start with, and
Hmm.
then how it's kind of evolved into where you are today?
Hmm. Oh yeah. So when I was in high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. But people keep telling me that I was very good at computers. So, okay, so I should try computer science engineering. So I got into university without having done one line of code. Just okay. I was in the science math
Yeah.
study area, but okay, why not? I like computers, I like games, I like internet, so
Oh,
why not? So I decided to join and to start computer science engineering. I finished a degree and I started my career as a PHP developer. I don't know how many of the listeners are familiar with PHP, but I remember by that time people saying, "Oh, PHP is not even a real language," because and now I'm into low code,
yeah.
and I keep hearing people saying that low code is not a real
Yeah.
technology for serious application. My life. But yeah, that's where it started.
Yeah, yeah. And then obviously, you worked as a developer and, can you talk me through, how OutSystems came around, when did you first hear of it? Were
Hmm.
you, you're working with kind of, PHP. Were you skeptical? Were you excited? Were you, what was your kind of, how did you hear about it to start with? And then what was your first reaction?
Yeah, so I stayed 3 years in PHP. Then I moved to another company to become a C# developer. And I was there for almost 3 years, doing one single project. So one single project, three
Yeah.
years, C#,
Wow.
life.
Wow.
So there was a moment that I wanted to learn something new. So I wanted to try out a new technology, a new language, meet new people, get new
Uh-huh.
mentors, right? Because in this world, you kind of find your mentors naturally and you get to
Yeah.
learn from other developers. So I wanted that for my career, more about the curiosity and of course career concerns. I wanted to add more
Uh-huh.
to my profile. So OutSystems by that time decided to open a small office. I don't know if you are aware, but probably. So you have three offices
Yeah.
in Portugal. That one was the second one to be open and was focused on professional services. So it was about developers, tech leads, delivery.
Yeah.
So, okay, so this is a new technology. I don't trust this. I was very skeptical about low code and OutSystems, and being limited, being
Mm.
all about templates and widgets.
Yeah.
And at some point, you would hit the wall. But they seem to have nice offices and they seem to have nice. So okay, let's give it a try.
Give it a
If
go.
doesn't,
Yeah.
yeah, if it doesn't work, I will stay there for 1 year and then I will
Yeah.
move to another technology. So I decided to apply for OutSystems to join the professional services team here in Proença Nova, which
Yep.
is where that office is located. And after 5 interviews, I got hired. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. And how was it, coming in as I'm guessing you'd been working in, traditional development for a while, right? So you were at the senior
Mhm.
level and now you're coming in kind of, as someone with no experience, right? So how did you kind of, make that leap to go from, did you join as a junior? Did you come in, because there's this thing that goes around to, even when we're speaking to senior developers, we tell them you can come into our systems and be a senior developer pretty much straight away. Was that the case for you?
Yeah, so it was exactly the case. So although most of developers in that unit were juniors, I wanted to join the team, but as a senior. And I knew nothing about the technology. I just had my experience with previous, companies and projects. So I had to, in particular, argument about that, right? So I remember, so I had a technical exam. I had several interviews with different people. With the hiring manager, that was Ricardo Araújo, by the way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he was the one who got me hired. But the last one was with one of our co-founders, Rui Pereira. And I remember, although it was 12 years ago, I still
Yeah.
remember that conversation because this was a very hard conversation. And I remember Rui asking me, so Vera, so you know nothing about our technology? You never did a project or an application without systems. Why should we hire you as a senior? And I was confess, I kind of was a bit arrogant on that.
Yeah.
And my answer was, you should hire me as a senior because I know how to deal with customers. One thing that I know is customers sometimes don't know what they want. And to me, OutSystems seems a good way for having a quick solution to show them and then get back and adapt and get the conversation go on. So learning a new technology must be that hard because I have 6 years experience already
Yeah.
and work with different languages. And that was it. And that time, his eyes was like, oh, makes sense.
So it's a good answer, yeah. And what was, as someone who's been working with traditional for 6 years now, you've got a mindset of working, right? So what was, when you kind of started, what was the biggest kind of mindset shift you had to do to kind of change the way you developed?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it requires a bit of mindset shift because traditional programming works kind of differently, right? Because essentially without systems, you are leveraging abstractions. It's
Mm.
not all about drag and drop, right? As you know. And,
Yep.
but yeah, so it requires a different, mindset shift. I can tell you, for example, in my first 2 weeks learning the technology, I'm not a huge fan of videos, so I kind of
Mm.
skip a bit the training. Don't tell anyone, okay? I prefer to put my hands on the
Yeah.
product. So I remember, building the logic, building the query to the database, building the for each, and then I was like, oh, how do I send the data to the screen, right? I kind of how does this work? So I asked for help. I checked the documentation and it clicked. Oh, I know how this works, right? So it's all about leveraging abstractions. So you know that you have widgets that do stuff. You know that you can configure with, let's say traditional coding when you
Mm.
need it, right? But it's all about, leveraging what exists already, right? And it's not that you know everything that the platform provides, but as you go, you will learn how to optimize what the platform offers. But yeah, it has to have that shift in how the things work.
Yeah.
So it takes a while. It was
Yeah.
to me, it was 2 weeks. Not too long, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah. No.
yeah, it all makes sense. It all makes sense.
It, it's funny though, because a lot of people I speak to, they do say the same thing, that they'd prefer to be learning hands-on rather than, you know,
Hmm.
PowerPoint presentations and videos, and kind of just, it's a bit boring, versus obviously when you're learning hands-on, even when you make mistakes, you learn from that, right? Because you've done it and okay, don't do that again. This doesn't work. This doesn't work.
Yeah.
And it can
Mm,
only help you improve, So,
yeah.
I'm interested to know, just like you, I think a lot of, even, with what we do in recruitment, and speaking to other traditional developers, trying to convince them to switch to OutSystems and low code, I think they all have this fear of, I've invested 5 years, 10 years, whatever, in this technology. I'm going to come into this technology, and am I going to be a junior again?
Yeah.
How do you guys address that?
Hmm. Well, there's a way I see that, right? And that's perception totally makes sense. Because again, you don't feel super comfortable with this technology because you don't know the technology. But one thing is for sure, when we say OutSystems is for complex projects, it's for complex projects. So it's not just about building toy apps and
Mm,
prototypes, right? So and when you get into serious applications, of course you need to know other stuff that goes beyond the small widgets and templates that
mm,
the platform offers you, right? To me, so for seniors, I think it's just a way to be more productive. I think sometimes these words, may sound shallow because we keep saying the same thing, but
yeah.
it actually accelerates a lot the boring work, right?
Mm,
The boilerplate and the plumbing. I could call it plumbing because sometimes I don't need to. I don't want to worry about this, right?
yeah.
But it's for real, right? So it kind of saves you a lot of time, even for UI. Many developers struggle with building UI, and you know what systems it provides UI. It comes from templates, but then you can fine tune it with your CSS, modifying the structures and the HTML. So everything is possible. But working on a baseline is not the same as starting from scratch, right? The same with authentication and other things, right? So to me, a senior developer moving to OutSystems is not about, becoming something that they are not. Is about adding a new tool on their tool belt, right? And of course, eventually, because you need to work on serious applications, you
Mm,
need to continue develop your knowledge, which is part of the life of a developer, right? You never know everything because technology
yeah.
is exploding all the
Yeah.
time. So you
Exactly.
always
Yeah.
need to learn other things, new ways of doing things, new tools, and integrate it into your tools, the tool
Yeah.
set that you have already. So yeah.
Yeah. I guess it's like one of those things that, if you don't continuously improve, you'll be left
Yeah.
behind, right? If you just sit
Hmm.
idle doing
Yeah.
the same thing, there's only so long you will last. If you don't keep kind
Yeah.
of, you know, expanding your own skill set, and like without systems platform, obviously that traditional experience plays a big part.
Hmm.
From even people I speak to, they say, there's a whole different conversation about citizen development, and it is possible for the right people who put in the work, but
Hmm.
a traditional developer who takes on the platform can be really add a lot of value
Hmm.
from day one.
Yeah, that is true. And it's not just, for developers, for us, but
Mm,
also for
mm,
businesses.
yeah.
So I see a lot of um, companies out there looking for a senior developer.
Mm,
And I'm like, OutSystems developer. And I'm like, you can get any senior developer from other
yeah.
technology and
Yeah.
easily
Yeah.
get them into OutSystems. It would be very fast. Why don't you hire just someone and get
Yeah.
them trained, right? To me, is still it's hard to understand why this is not clear for
Mm,
everyone.
yeah.
Um, So yeah.
Yeah, that's an ongoing frustration for us when we speak
Yeah,
to
it
customers.
is.
Even they'll ask us for the craziest require. I think the mindset that hasn't changed for businesses and these leaders is the top of a job spec, 5 years
Yeah.
plus experience. That line is never going to go away, right? It's just
No, it
always
is.
kind
It
of
is.
the most, even like, every job spec will have that and they will stick to it that they want,
Yeah.
that they will see it as, okay, well, this person's already worked with it. They're going to be faster. I don't want to do any training. But I think, even the people with experience, they still, like we just said, need continuous training. They need
Yeah.
continuous kind of learn things about the platform, how it's evolving. They don't just do one certification and just now they can build everything, right? So I think it's a conversation that is going to happen for a while still. I don't see
Yeah.
it going away.
It's not. It's not.
But obviously, when did it come that obviously you're working for professional services as a developer? When did things kind of move where you kind of decided or got told to move into the community side?
Yeah, that's a funny story. So I spent 3 years in professional services here. And by that time, I was already doing some training. So I was a trainer.
Yeah.
So training every OutSystems developer and tech
Mm,
lead who would join OutSystems. I was in charge of the onboarding and what we call technical acceleration in
mm.
OutSystems. That's why I say that a tech lead. I think the
Yeah.
tech lead, the onboarding was like 5 weeks for a tech lead.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
someone experienced in another
Mm,
technology. We had a program like initial training,
mm.
hands-on project, and then shadowing on projects. So we have these 3 phases.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was a trainer, so I was, enabling developers already. And one day, someone very well known in our community that is no longer with us, Mario
Mm,
Araújo,
mm,
called me. He was at product management team,
mm.
and he called me, say, Vera, do you want to change the world? Yeah, yes, of course. Let's go. Tell me about it.
Yeah.
And it was like, so we have this special project because we want to ignite the developer community. And by that time, our team was called Ignite. So our
Okay.
team, it was Ignite. It was me and
Yeah.
Mario, and we hired a third person to join us. And yeah, so our goal was to kind of nurture the autism community because we saw it was very important, right? As everyone knows, OutSystems benefits the business because
Yeah.
it creates digital solutions for them to solve their problems or to be more productive. But the people who use our product to, serve the business
Yeah.
are developers, right?
Yeah.
So we had our community, our online community, the forums. We had many different goals and many different ideas for us to kind of ignite. But we had one big problem to solve, which was the support that was being given on forums.
Mm.
So that was our main goal by that time. So it was forums, and then how could we scale our efforts and kind of grow and nurture the OutSystems community. So I
Yeah.
joined Mario and Carla, the three of us. Started what is today the developer relations team at
Yeah.
OutSystems. So
It's a
it was
much bigger team now
it
and
is. It
global.
is. It's exciting times right now.
And obviously, the community team has launched so many programs. Now there's so many things going on. What were some of the kind of early ones that you maybe tried and failed, or
Yeah.
it's still
Yeah.
going? And they're just kind of I'm keen to see how things evolved over time.
Yeah. Yeah. So we launched, I think it was 2016. We launched a lot of programs. One of them I still consider it was probably the major success we had, and I consider that program one of the backbones of our community.
Mhm.
So as I said, one of our challenges was to solve the support that was being given on forums. And by that time, the average time to get an answer was 4 days.
Wow.
And how we are going to solve this?
Yeah.
So part of my job was, for a while replying on forums, getting other people for specific topics to get into
Mm.
support our customers on forums. But then the other part of my job was strategize what we could do different to optimize that operation. So we decided to launch a super users program called MVP program, where we would, activate is a bad word, but where we would work with other people,
Yeah.
recognizing them as well, but getting them to closer to us to be our extended army in the field, right? So Foros was one of the channels they helped, but also, we wanted to launch the user group program, so starting to nurture local communities. So we needed to have people on the field, and we were just 3, so we leveraged local people, local
Mm.
MVPs to kind of start those user groups. We launched the newsletter as well. It was, when we have a developer newsletter. So for the ones
Yeah.
that don't know, just go and subscribe.
Yeah.
Our KPIs depend on that. So go there now.
We'll put the link in the description.
Yeah. So yeah, good, good point. But yeah, so I would say by that time, MVP program and later the Champions program was super successful programs that we put in place that are still, rolling these uh, in nowadays and still bringing a lot of success to our community and community members. So I'm really, uh, happy about what we launched by that time.
Yeah, the MVP program is, I've interviewed many MVPs, right? And
Yeah, I know.
their passion, it's a great initiative because obviously their passion is, a lot of them I speak to, the amount of things they do, outside of their job just to help the
Hmm.
community. Like they don't need to do that, right? It doesn't,
Yeah.
there's no financial gain, right? Obviously,
Yeah, no,
so
true.
it's more just because of the real love of the platform of, we
Yeah,
want to, and
no.
then we want to help others. Obviously it helps the platform get better as well with any feedback they can give, but it helps grow the developer community as well.
No, no, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
The feedback that they gave is very important because they are what we call the developer zero, right? So they are
Hmm.
the first ones to
Yeah.
try out our new versions. And yeah, so it's very important to get them close to us
Mm.
because although sometimes they give us a hard time, right? Because developers, they will say what they need to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
For the
Yeah.
outside, like you said, they are very passionate, right? They are always spreading the word about OutSystems, helping each other. And that is what is interesting in our ecosystem, because we are in the enterprise world, and our partners are competing, right? Our
Yeah.
competitors.
Yeah.
But developers share with no
Yeah.
without
Yeah.
without
Yeah.
having any thing in mind about, oh,
Yeah.
you are a competitor, I'm not sharing this knowledge
Mm.
with you. No, they share, they
Mm.
just share,
Yeah.
because that is the community mindset. That is something that we keep fostering, the values, and even how good it feels to share with others and
Yeah.
to get the validation from others, right? Because
Mm.
sometimes when you share a solution, you always get input and kind of get you shape what you
Yeah.
know and your knowledge, right?
Yeah.
So we have an amazing community. You can
Yeah.
you can tell that I'm passionate about this topic, right?
So, like, you're saying it started in 2016. So next year
Yes.
would
Hmm.
be 10 years,
Yeah.
coming to 10 years, how do you feel, the community is from when it started and how's it evolved in regards to size, just the
Hmm.
collaboration? You've touched on that already, because obviously it's not always just MVPs getting involved now. There's champions, there's even people
Hmm.
aspiring to be champions or MVPs, so they're getting involved in well, so from going to a small team to now a big team, community team, but also the community, the way it's grown, how's it evolved for you internally?
Yeah. So our community, keeps growing, which is very good. And today we are a bigger team, and I think that is a sign that there was investment since that
Mm.
time, right? And we care about developers. So developers are important for our systems. That's why we got the budget to keep growing our internal team and keep doing what we do in a consolidated way and getting our many other programs to serve the community. So we have the Build for the Future hackathon. We have our big conference one. We have so many, things. We have the mentorship program that
Yeah.
was launched 2 years ago. So we have so many good programs out there that we need this team, right? And OutSystems investing in this team is a sign that OutSystems cares about developers and technical people. And to me, that is also a very positive sign. In terms of community grow, we still feel that we are a niche community. So comparing with,
Mm.
for example, .NET community, we're
Yeah.
still small.
Yeah.
But to me, that makes things interesting because,
Mm.
as you said in the beginning, so people know names, right? Because
Yeah.
if you are active in some way,
Mm.
building content, sharing content online,
Mm.
being active on LinkedIn, sharing your voice, commenting and
Yeah.
resharing posts, doing a podcast or organizing user groups, people will
Mm.
know your name, right?
Yeah.
And that is a good, so for all the developers out there, OutSystems and non-OutSystems, being involved in the community is always good for you because it first keeps you motivated, right? All
Yeah.
of us right now are working remotely, so we
Mm.
need some human
Yeah.
interaction
Yeah.
once in a while.
Yes, definitely.
Although sometimes it feels like, wow, mind blowing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
whenever I
Yeah.
spend 1 week at the office, I was, oh my God, I can't handle this anymore.
You're not used to speaking so much.
Yeah, and it's so many humans around me, so I'm
Yeah.
not used to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I kind of derailed the conversation, but yeah, so we're still growing and we want to grow
Mm.
more because that means that that we have more people using the product, familiar with the
Yeah.
product, expanding knowledge and serving customers, right? And from internally, we want to keep the structure, right, and keep optimized to serve that community. So I think that is our motto right now, is kind of continue doing our job, of course,
Yeah.
receiving input
Mm.
and helping the community to grow and be successful with our technology.
Yeah. And I think what's great that you touched on, obviously, yeah, if you compare it to a .NET community, right? Obviously, it's not going to be that size. But
Mm-hmm.
if you look at the conference, when I was in the UK, I remember we got on the plane from the UK to Lisbon, and the people that came from Australia were transiting from the UK, and they
Mm-hmm.
had their OutSystems backpack on. So I knew,
Mm-hmm.
okay, these
Yeah,
guys, and the accent, I could tell they come from Australia, right? So they're
yeah,
truly like people from all around the world will come into one place, and without they don't know people, but they know them from LinkedIn,
mm-hmm.
the forums, the MVPs. It's like the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just like going to one of these conferences and it's awkward going up to talk to someone. You kind of feel like you know
Yeah.
them already, right? It's very kind of
Yeah, no, it's
close knit community. Everyone's kind of the energy in the room is just
yeah.
buzzing, right? Everyone's kind of excited. What's going to happen? It's like you said, it's like they're a kid. It's their day out to chat to other adults. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. No, that is great. And you know what? I remember one customer saying to me, I think it was a conference in Lisbon. I don't remember it was in Amsterdam or Lisbon, but I remember him saying, wow, the energy is amazing. I feel
Yeah.
like I'm joining a cult. I was like, that's right. You just joined the cult.
Yeah.
Welcome. I
And
remember that
but
one.
it's great. That's great. That's what you want, right? You want them to feel that, and I think that's why
Hmm.
these conferences there should be more people who are not in the community but
Hmm.
thinking about if they've ever looked at it, they should
Hmm. Yeah.
join, right? And see
Hmm.
it kind of. There's only so much you can see online and be convinced, but if you want to
Hmm.
really be convinced, turn up to the
True.
conference, right? So
Yeah.
we should
Yeah.
add this to the marketing campaign.
Yes. Yes. Yes, because we are having our conference in October. So
Yes.
yeah, that should, yeah. Let me take note of that.
And going to your role right now within the community, can you tell me kind of what's the goal of your role? When we discussed before, you said your role is
Hmm.
like a double agent, right? So can you
Hmm.
kind of
Yeah.
elaborate on what that means?
Yeah, so right now I'm part of the advocacy team, which is one of the teams in developer relations. So we have community growth, community engagement, and then developer advocacy. So I usually describe my role, like you said, as a double agent, right? Because for the community, I represent OutSystems, and for OutSystems, I represent the community, our
Yeah.
end users. And that means I'm always, fighting the good fights, as
Yeah.
I usually say. So since we moved to marketing, right now we are under marketing department. My team has this goal to outside of generating trust and getting developers that don't know OutSystems to trust SCCs for serious applications. So we have this evangelism role, that we try to achieve through content,
Mm.
participation in conferences, and such like that. So it's part of, let's call it developer marketing.
Yeah.
But for the inside, since we continue to have conversations with the field, right, with our customers, with our
Mm.
developers, we still are the ones who bring insights and say how the product should look like, right? Not just the product, but all the web properties like
Mm.
Forge, which is, such important for us.
Yeah.
I would say that if we compare to our competitors, we have the biggest marketplace, and that
Mm.
is due to our community because we build
Yeah.
some Forge components, right? OutSystems puts there some code, plug and play
Mm.
code, but the community members are the
Yeah.
ones who are, building high volume
Yeah.
components, ODC and O11. So we kind of we bring insights and try to influence the roadmap and the decisions that are made internally, even the way sometimes we communicate things, right? We were like, this is not going to resonate with the technical audience. How
Mm.
about saying this way, right? And for the outside, our mission is continue to support developers with content, with conversations, with connecting with different people inside, but also for the ones that are now aware of systems, enable them with knowledge to
Yeah.
so them they know if OutSystems fits, their goals, career goals, or their company goals in terms of building
Mm.
applications.
Yeah.
So
And
that's it.
talking about, the good fight, can you talk me through, some of the good fights you've taken on as the voice of the developers within internally?
Yeah, so a lot. So we are having conversations, you know, uh, very often about different topics. I remember one of the topics right now is Forge ODC, right?
Mm.
We still, have some things that we could be improved on ODC Forge, but right now and more recently, you are aware that we launch Workbench, at
Yeah.
least the AIP, right? And sometimes it looks easy for everyone that everyone can build agents. Let's build
Yeah.
agents. Well, now we have Workbench. That is true. But for developers that never build an agent, probably need some, background
Yeah.
information or what should we know before starting using Workbench and
Mm.
creating your agents, right? So you kind of, okay, let's take a step back and what can we do to help developers to be more successful with our product, that specific product, right? Because in the end, it's in our hands to be able to help people. And again, every day we see new things out there, and it can be overwhelming, right? I think
Yeah.
I miss my days in professional services, but I imagine if I was in a delivery team, I would be overwhelmed about what to use, what to choose,
Yeah.
how can I be more productive, right? So because everything, exploded, so we have so many
Yeah.
options. Then sometimes you just need this enablement for you to understand what tools to use, and in this case, what do you need to know to be successful in building agents, and what are the use cases where those agents will be beneficial, right? So that is one of many very recent example of a conversation we had last week,
Mm.
and that will result in a series of content that we are going to release to enable people on that, right? So getting to know more about this world, AI,
Yeah.
agentic,
Yeah. Yeah.
etc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure people must, when they're kind of giving you their feedback, must look forward to your product update videos to see if whatever they
Oh.
suggested is in there or not.
No, yeah. So people keep telling me good things about the show. So I really thank everyone, the ones that are sending feedback. And yeah, so that show is about speaking in a simple language, like we
Mm.
call it developer lingo, what we are
Yeah.
launching, right? It's not about promoting and saying, oh,
Mm.
look how we built, we
Yeah.
are so good. But I always try to position in a way how this would benefit, right, in what
Yeah.
situations, right? And we try to keep it short. But let me tell you, for this month, it is a challenge because we launched so many good things, and
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
pick right now. I can't make it short. I need to talk about all of this.
Yeah.
But yeah, and you know what? So I'm not sure I shared this with anyone already, but since I um, since I started doing this, it was in January,
Yeah.
I kind of get the feeling, a more real feeling about the amazing things our product team is putting out there.
Mm.
I think before that I didn't have, I don't know, a clear vision because was
Yeah.
not involved in,
Yeah.
releasing
Mm.
discussions, but we are putting so many good things out there that I
Yeah.
was like, oh my God, we really have an amazing team here. So
It makes you appreciate the work they're doing,
yeah,
right?
I'm supposed to convince the audience that they
Yeah.
can trust us, that we are keep involving the product, but I'm the one who was convinced. Oh, we are
Yeah.
really amazing.
And that's good because if that's the feeling you're getting, it's going to come across in the videos, right? So
Yeah,
that's what you
yeah,
want, right? So
yeah, yeah,
you want to
yeah,
be convincing. That's
yeah.
amazing. And
No,
you,
true.
you touched on AI. That's the kind
Hmm.
of there's no conversation without AI at the moment. How's that, impacting the developer community and even your role?
Hmm. Yeah. So my role. So all of us, we had to learn more about this world and see what others are doing, just kind of to calibrate our thoughts, our feelings, our assumptions, and to determine, right, to decide how do we want to talk about this, right? Because it's a sensitive topic here. Some people hate AI, some people love it for the possibilities it can
Mm.
bring. Some people just feel overwhelmed about everything, right? So it's
Yeah.
kind of a mess right now. This
Yeah.
AI agentic. Um, and yeah, I think in the beginning of this new era, there was this question about, is AI replacing, low
Mm.
code? Is AI the new low code? Um, and even more so, every day we have this reassurance that is not about AI or low code,
Mm.
is about AI and low codes working
Yeah.
together, right? And I know, Feroz, you are very popular inside. I don't know if you are
Oh, good.
aware, but
I'm
people
glad.
usually use your let's say point of view about is AI and low code replacing developers' jobs, and you usually say that no. So it's probably you will be replaced by someone that knows how to use
Yeah.
leverageable technologies, low code and AI, right? So it's not
Yeah.
this technology is going to replace you. Is if you don't learn, how to live in this new era,
Yeah.
probably you'll be replaced by someone else. So yeah, that is impacting the way we build content, the way we talk about our systems, right? So we try to address those concerns up front, right? Because we always have an answer ready, right? But if
Yeah.
you address with knowledge, with good communication, I think that will not be an issue in the future. And we keep always, trying to understand what is new in this AI world,
Yeah.
right? So that us we can study about it and kind of enable us ourselves so that
Yeah.
we
Of
can
course.
have informed conversations with our community, but also with developers that are considering OutSystems. So
Yeah.
that is very important. So all of us, we are long life learners because
Yes. Of
this
course.
is
Yeah.
a world in constant
You got to move with
evolution.
the
So
times, right?
yeah, it is.
And I'm interested to know, as someone who was a developer, if you have, or if you could build any app for yourself in OutSystems, what would it be and why?
I don't know. I'm building micro apps all the time just for
Okay.
fun. And of course, to keep close to the technology because
Yeah.
it's not just about recording videos and,
Sure.
doing stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I would. to be honest, I would want to have the opportunity to explore this in a more serious level, like building an application, leveraging AI, all the good stuff that we are releasing in ODC. But I feel that I really need, and I know that other developers feel the same. So they want to explore more. They don't have a use case, right? So yeah, I don't know what application I would build, but I would love to have more, serious hands-on experience right now, because these are very exciting days, and we have some great features, features available in our product. So yeah, I don't know. Do you need any application for us for your
I'll
business?
think about it and get back to you. And
Okay.
finally, what message would you give to developers who today are still kind of sitting on the fence about low code and not convinced?
Yeah. So what can I say? So I feel developers, and don't take me wrong, developers out there, I'm also a developer. All the developers are very emotional about their tech stack, right? Is that because that they say, I'm a web developer, I'm a .NET developer, I'm a Java developer. So people are very emotional about their tech stack. But while experimenting a new tool or going to low code, which feels or may seem like an easy world to more toy apps, you should not see this as one or another. So it's not you are a traditional developer or you are a local developer. You are a developer, right? Developer, and then you are adding new expertise, new skills to your tech stack, right? And it can be in the middle, you discover that this is actually strong and robust, and you can do this for serious application. There's a funny story here. I don't know if you know this story, Faraj, but one of our MVPs before he becomes an MVP, their company bought OutSystems, and their boss asked him to kind of explore OutSystems. And he was very focused on proving that his boss was wrong.
Yeah, okay.
And at some point he would hit the wall. And
Mm.
in that process, he became a huge fan of OutSystems. In the point that today he's an MVP, right? So he was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I was very determined to prove my boss this is wrong. That is because, in the past, we called so many tools low code tools that the term low code can serve
Yeah.
tools that's serve a specific context, like type form, right? You build forms
Mm.
and that's it. To, large low code platforms enterprise, like OutSystems, Mendix, Salesforce, whatever, right? So those are the ones that build the enterprise at the enterprise
Mm.
level. So for those who are skeptical about low code, I would say take a look, right? It's not easy from the moment you go, because the IDE is super
Mm.
big and has a lot of things that you don't know. But if you invest a lot, you will see that you can do good things. I'm a huge fan of just-in-time learning. That's why I prefer to go hands-on, and then
Yeah.
I get stuck and I was okay. So how can I do this? Let me search. How can I do this in OutSystems? And usually the answer is in forums, so we are good
Yeah.
to go, right?
Yeah. That's
So
amazing.
I remember, for example, I want to upload a file. How do I do this in OutSystems? Oh, there's a widget for that. Okay, good. Just want to learn how to use the widget.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's final message is not being a local developer versus a traditional developer. Is about being a developer that knows a tool that is considered a modern tool, that is more focused on the end result, right, and optimization and acceleration. So I would say that's it.
So, Vera, thank you so much for, joining. It was a pleasure to talk to you, and you've been there for so long. I think I'd still be very surprised if nobody knows who you are when your episode comes
Oh,
out. But it's great to I think, for people to understand exactly what you're doing, what, the value you're adding for both the product and the developers, and your journey and, how it's evolved. So I really appreciate you saying yes, spending the time, and speaking with me.
Well, you are very kind, Feroz. Thanks again for having me. And for everyone listening the podcast, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. I may take a while to respond, but I usually respond always. So if you want to discuss ideas on things that we should be doing in our products, community, other stuff, if you want to meet at one, so just feel free to reach out. Okay. And thank you for us again for having me. Looking forward to be with you in person in Lisbon.
Yes. Thank you again, and yes, I look forward to it. Thank you, Vera.
Thank you.